Today's America on Millennium News TV 24. Today we have a very special guest for you. We have Suzanne McDonald, who is a real estate agent and organist. And we met on Lunch Club. So welcome to the show, Suzanne.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Suzanne, maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you came into being an organist and then real estate agent and moving to New York.
All right. Well, I started as studying piano. That was my big thing, and I went to college for that in Montreal. And I went to McGill, and that city has so many beautiful organs and churches, and I got very fascinated about it, and I really loved the composer Bach, mainly Baroque music. And so then I started studying organ. And then one weekend, my brother was visiting me, and he wasn't getting up early in the morning, so I went and got the newspaper, and I saw that there was an ad for an audition at the cathedral. So I wandered down with my music and found the organist and took an audition, and then I became an assistant at the Christ Church Cathedral in Montreal. And that really began my career because I helped play with big organ, and we did concerts, and there was a men and boys choir. Think of it like the royal wedding in London, that kind of experience in the boys choir. So that's where I really got going with music. And I eventually ended up in Boston and went to grad school there and played a lot of music. And long story short, I ended up in North Carolina. And I've just been in music all along, and eventually made my way to New York, and then went back to Boston. But anyway, during COVID, I decided to take my real estate exam. I had the New York exam. I had a Massachusetts license before, and COVID was a great time to do it because, there weren't any concerts. Most of my students were taking lessons online. And I'm sure some of you can agree that COVID had some advantages, and that was one of mine.
Very good. Well done. So we met on Lunch Club, and Lunch Club is a industry, professional, invite-only kind of website, right?
Right.
And maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, once again, I think it was during, I don't know whether I did meet you, but I began it during COVID also. And they look at your profile of your interests and different things, and they match you with people all around the world. And it's been fascinating. I met, business developers in Ghana. I've met hip-hop musicians. I met all kinds of people. And I ended up meeting David, and we hit it off because we both love music, and we started talking about, different styles of music, and he actually writes music, so I went and looked his website up, and then he said, hey, you should come and do a show. And so here I am, hopefully doing a show at some point.
This is a show.
We are a show.
And also, I think appreciation for Baroque music, indeed. And if you do want to hear my music, you can check it out on the web, toddgoldfinger.com as well. But so Suzanne, do you get around to playing music these days?
Yeah, recently I play up in the Hudson Valley, which is, if you're in the city, I suggest hopping on a train and going to Beacon or Hudson, or the beautiful river towns, and it's just fun to explore up there. And they happen to have in Millbrook this organ that it was built in Hamburg, Germany, and it was brought over in 1970. And it's based on a design that Bach would have played. So it's basically handmade. They're called trackers, which is a type of way you produce the sound. The only thing that is electrical, is the air coming in. Everything else you control with your fingers and your feet. And so that organ is built by von Beckerath of Hamburg, Germany. So I play there several times a month. And let's see, recently I played at the Church of Epiphany, which is in the process of getting a new organ. And that's in Upper East Side. And then I played at St. Paul's. That's what I've done in Brooklyn on Carroll Street. So I play all kinds of instruments, different locations. And the fun thing is that the acoustics vary with the size of the church, the roof, the material. So everything's a different experience.
That's great. Fantastic story. And these gigs that you do, they're with a big organ, right? And
Yes.
the air being pushed through them.
Yes. The last, when I played at St. Paul's, it was that cold weekend, and the choir was up in the balcony, and the bishop was there because it was confirmation, but it was such a big church that people were wearing their coats under their choir robes, and I had those little toasty fingers things, so I play for a while, and then I'd break one of those things and warm my hands up because it was absolutely freezing. So side information that goes on in the balcony.
That's good. That's good. We like that. Okay, good. So you're interested as well as doing shows for Millennium TV?
Yeah, I thought it might be fun. You know, one of the things I've done in my life is I've been a teacher. I taught at boarding schools, I taught at community colleges. So there's the teacher aspect of me that I can't ever get rid of. And I think a show that might have some stuff on real estate, not necessarily the data-driven stuff, but just what you need to know to be a good buyer or renter, so that you get things done properly and that you understand the process, as well as maybe share some of my music colleagues with you, that play jazz or classical, and what their experience is, and share some of the things that are not necessarily expensive in the city, but high quality concerts and things to go to. So sort of about the house, getting a house, making a home. Could be music, art, plants. I love plants. Whatever I think of or Todd thinks of.
Okay. Very good. I think we're going to go to commercial break right now for a little bit, and we'll be right back.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV. Millennium TV.
Back to Today's America on Millennium News TV 24. Thank you so much for watching. We're here with a very special guest, Suzanne McDonald. We met on Lunch Club, and Lunch Club is a great platform to meet industry professionals. It's an invite-only platform. And Suzanne is here to talk about two subjects that are maybe otherwise completely unrelated otherwise. Real estate and being an organ player, playing Bach and different kinds of Baroque music. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, again. And so tell the audience a little bit about maybe some of your favorite pieces and what was your inspiration becoming an organist?
Oh, I mean, the first time I played, when I was a kid and I was studying piano music, you always studied something from the Baroque period, something classical, romantic, contemporary, and a very strict teacher. And whatever I had least practiced the most, I put that book at the back, hoping that we would run out of time. And that book was actually Bach, because I just didn't get it. It just was too hard. It was so complex. And the funny story is, in the end, that's what I love the most. So because of my love for the Baroque music and Chopin and Debussy was just not in, was wonderful, but Bach just really is more complex. It's a lot of intricate pieces, and I love to put it together. So that's why I ended up studying organ. And favorite pieces, oh my gosh, anything Baroque, but I love Bach. Everyone loves the Toccata Fugue in D minor. I always play that at Halloween. There's a Passacaglia in C minor, which is great. And Passacaglia is just like a canon. It has, like, you think of Pachelbel's canon with that bass line that repeats itself over and over. It has a bass line, and then this music just evolves on top of it. So those are my two favorite right now.
Okay, very good. And as far as real estate, what are some great rentable areas for?
So right now, I think the first time Todd asked me if I wanted to do this program, and I said, well, what do people want to know? I said, and you said, well, should they rent or should they buy? And so I've been thinking about that question since you asked it. So I really think that for everyone, it's an individual time. If you've got too much stuff and you need a bigger place, then it's a good time to move. If you are having a hard time with the rent, find something cheaper. I don't think it's really, very few people tend to want to make decisions on what the market is like, but I think you can always find, I won't want to say a good deal, but you can always find something when you need it if you work with a professional. Hot areas right now. I think the Bronx is a hidden gem that people need to know about. And I know of a development that's going on and has about 9 buildings that they're restoring, these Art Deco buildings. They're absolutely gorgeous to buy. To rent, I think Crown Heights, to me, in Brooklyn is a really hot area right now. But everyone has their own special spot.
Okay, what are some of your favorite places in the city?
Favorite places? Wherever I go, it's my favorite space.
Yeah.
The other day I was exploring the Lower East Side, and I didn't realize how many little art galleries there are there. There's tons of art galleries. And I came across a favorite chocolate shop called Ronnie Sue, and it's all women-owned, and it's all handmade chocolates. And then a new studio called Forma, Formah, which means art house. And that's a woman-owned art gallery on the Lower East Side, and it's only women art. And so that was the theme of my day that day. And for housing, it just varies what you want. I mean, I love going to new developments and seeing, the beautiful amenities and the views and things. And then the older buildings with their charm and uniqueness. So I don't think I have a favorite area.
Okay. And so for the show that you want to do for Millennium TV, who are some of the guests that you're thinking about having on?
Well, I won't name them because they haven't asked them
We
yet.
could dance around.
So we'll dance around. Like, I have a friend who has her own jazz quartet, and she infuses Indian style and music with it, and she tours, internationally, and she's here in the city. Wonderful. I was thinking of also a classical trumpet player or a freelance trumpet player to talk about what it's like to be a freelance musician in the city. Bring on a mortgage guy and let him really answer those questions about what's the finances of buying. And people don't really know what title insurance is. And, it sounds boring, but there's some crazy stories. But it's very important. You don't want to buy a property without having the title. So, that kind of stuff. Mix it up with music and art and real estate.
Wow, sounds great.
Thank you.
Suzanne McDonald. So
Tune in later.
Tune in later, exactly. That's great. So, what are some other topics that are important to you, Suzanne?
You mean in terms of the real estate area?
in terms of real estate and
Well, I think it's the real thing is that when someone is going to work with an agent is to sort of audition that agent. Don't just take someone that's you see in a phone book or whatever. You want to make sure that it's someone that you feel understands you. So take your time and talk to a few people. Same thing with mortgage brokers and stuff like that. A good real estate agent will guide you and give you choices so that you get, the right person to help you. I think New York is a great place to live. I came from the South, and then I lived in the country in Connecticut, and just said I got to live in the city a little while before I go back south. But that may be quite a while right now because I'm really enjoying it, enjoying meeting the people and the buildings. There's always something different going on.
great. Well, it's been great. And is there anything? How can people find you?
Oh, okay. My name is Suzanne McDonald, and it's very easy. You can just email me, Suzanne with a Z, .mcdonald@corcoran.com. I'm with the Corcoran Group, and my office is in Williamsburg on Bedford Street, right next to the Apple Store. But you can just email me, and if you have questions or if I can help you in any way, whether it's in the city or you're moving outside the city, people don't realize that we can refer you and guide you to agents and things that will help you anywhere in the country, and you'd be amazed in other countries as well.
Great. Do you have any questions for me?
I know. I think this will be fun.
Yeah? Okay, good. Well, we have a few more minutes, so why don't you ask me a few questions about my music? or
Okay,
something?
yeah. Listen, I love your music,
Oh, thank you so much.
and it's very. His music is guitar, and it's acoustic, and it has a very intimate feeling to it, and that very personal. And I'd like, how did you end up playing guitar?
Well, I play bass, but
Bass. Yeah.
So it was actually what happened was my mom thought she was buying me a guitar, and it actually turned out to be a bass.
Oh wow.
So that was the first thing, and I started to compose little melodies and things like that on the bass. And I said, well, I want to keep this instrument. This is something I wanted to keep. So 30 years later, and I'm still playing bass, but now producing and directing TV shows for Millennium TV as well. It's very great to be here. So we get to have wonderful guests like Suzanne McDonald, and hopefully people like you out there, if you'd like to be on the show, if you have a great story to tell or something like this, we'd love to have you on the program. So, but yeah, to talk a little bit about my music, I studied at SUNY Purchase, and I'm mostly self-studied. I took maybe 6 months of bass lessons in the beginning, and then my teacher told me just go home and learn the records by ear. So I did that, and I learned the entire Iron Maiden catalog by ear when I was 15 years old, and was producing records with my band, Spinning Images, while I was still in high school. So I was a
Wow.
bit of a prodigy, but I didn't know it, and I should have been picked up at that time. But anyway,
Do you know the name Graham Ashton?
Graham Ashton, no, I don't know.
He's a teacher there,
Oh, okay.
and he's been there for a while. I think he was a trumpet teacher, and he's quite a trumpet player. He's a friend of mine.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe he
We
can
can get it. Yeah, exactly.
get him for the program.
So, have you written anything choral, or is
I mean, I don't write in notes. I'm not able to, I'm a little, I guess, a bit of a savant. I'm not able to write the notes, but I'm able to hear everything and play everything almost verbatim from what I hear. I can also visualize what I'm hearing. So when I hear a song on the radio, I can actually tell you what the chord progression is. I mean, you probably could do this too, right? To have
Yeah.
this sort of like synesthetic, visionary musical insight or something like this.
and so do you record from your playing? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, exactly. So I would get in a room with somebody, would make sure that the room sounds great. It has to sound very good. maybe that you can hear a pin drop or something like this, and mic up everything perfectly, but it doesn't, and just get the good sound, hit the record button, and then go for it. I do a lot of improvised composition in real time.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So when we do shows like this is also, having to be on your toes.
So it makes sense you doing this.
Right.
Wow, that's neat. Do you like playing in ensembles?
Ensembles, I haven't played in so much. Bands was always a political issue of who's the leader in the band and who's going to write what and who's going to get credit for what, and it always got in the way of the music. So I was able to find a fantastic guitar player, Mateusz Chmielewski, from Poland, and he was a very genius guitar player who accompanied a lot of my works that you hear on the albums that you can, if you tell your device to play Todd Goldfinger, you're going to hear the albums. And I hope you like it. I hope you driving or working and listening to my music, and I hope that you enjoy it as well.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. Any other questions before we wrap up?
Let me see. No, I think that's it for now. That's what.
Great. And music is a thing that it doesn't make a lot of money, but I mean, if you're a really professional musician, you can do great things with it as well. But it's something that helps people survive, and it's a great force to have in your life as well. A spirit and belief.
It's good for those that play and those that listen. It's wonderful in all ways.
Well, thank you so much, Suzanne, for being on the show, and hope to see you again. Thank you so much for watching Today's America on Millennium News TV. You can catch us on all platforms: Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Check us out, and hope to see you soon. God bless you, and peace on earth. Thank you.